What the hell? He just kissed her. Damian Ellison's voice cracked through the glassy corridor like a snapped cable. Usually ice-calm, deliberate, contained. Now it trembled with shock, disbelief, a flicker of fear. That impossible scene arrived after everything Alana Jackson had already endured. She'd been up since before dawn, 29, bones sore, clutching a tinny thermos, riding the private service elevator to Ellison Capital's penthouse level. Marisol, the household manager who'd served the Ellison family nearly 2 decades, stood waiting, spine rigid, gaze cool, and grating. "You're late," she said. Alana checked her watch. "It's 5:59, ma'am. My shift starts at 6. "Don't backtalk." Marisol rammed a bundle of cloths into Alana's hands. "Mr. Ellison wants the marble buffed before the nanny arrives at 8. All guest rooms polished, laundry done. Prepare the nursery for inspection." "That's usually 3 jobs," Alana murmured. The perfume hit first, sharp, medicinal. Then Marisol stepped closer, voice like a pinched hiss. "Are you questioning me? I'm saying it might be impossible before—" The slap cracked the hallway. Alana's knees buckled. "Be grateful, now move." Palm stinging, pride bruised deeper, Alana rose, steadied by the wall. She needed this job, for rent, for her kid sister's groceries, for sheer survival. So she scrubbed and buffed and lifted and kept her mouth shut. By 8, sweat soaked her gray uniform. Forearms trembling, knees gritty from stone. Still, Marisol stacked on tasks, barking critics at every breath. None of that, humiliation, slap, exhaustion, prepared her for the chaos about to erupt. The screaming didn't sound ordinary. It was a tide of panic, high, furious, splintering. Alana froze at the nursery landing. 2 nannies outside, hair yanked loose, wiping spit from faces, both rattled, both retreating like burned hands. "He spit on me!" one cried. "Right in my eyes. He bit me!" Inside, a toddler howled, a storm stuffed into a tiny chest. Theo Ellison, face blotchy, fists balled, red with grief as much as rage. A nanny crept closer. He spit again, feral and terrified. Alana scanned for Marisol. Nowhere. Staff pulled back, uncertain. Cheeks still burning, Alana squeezed her cloth, then stepped forward anyway, that cry digging under her skin. "Miss, don't," a nanny warned. "He hates everyone." Alana knew that shriek, born from hurt, not just anger. She entered the nursery gently. Baby lotion fogged the air. Toys everywhere. Sky blue walls, electricity buzzing through silence. Theo saw her, brown skin, plain uniform, trembling hands, and screamed louder. Alana didn't flinch. She knelt slowly, shut her eyes, exhaled, and hummed a church night hymn her grandmother loved, older than pain, older than this building. The sound worked like warm cotton, his fists unstiffened, chest pulled and settled. The boy who'd spit at everyone toddled forward, lifted uncertain hands, pressed his cheek to hers. Alana's breath vanished. Tears climbed, uninvited, undeniable. The doorway flooded. 2 nannies, a guard, a clipboard-clutching junior staffer. Then that voice behind them, deep and stunned. "What the hell? He just kissed her." People stepped aside. Damian Ellison entered, tall, composed, eyes blown wide. He scanned the room, jaw tight, not angry, something deeper breaking open. "Who are you?" Quiet. Alana rose with Theo anchored to her. "Alana Jackson, sir, cleaning staff." Theo refused to release her. The air held its breath. Damian stepped closer. "He's never done that, not once. He hasn't let anyone hold him since—" His voice cracked. Marisol appeared, anxious, already shaping a narrative, but Damian lifted a hand. "Enough. Everyone out." The room cleared. Only Damian, Alana, and Theo remained. For a long beat, he looked between his son and the woman holding him, and something shifted in his expression, something human and unguarded. He exhaled. "Miss Jackson," he said, "I'd like to talk." Heart thudding, cheek still hot, Theo warm against her collarbone, Alana nodded. This wasn't only a moment. It felt like a hinge clicking into place, a door opening somewhere she'd never imagined. It felt like the start of trouble. The nursery's quiet settled heavy, almost sacred. Theo's fingers latched her shirt like a lifeline. Damien leaned on the changing table, stunned at what he'd witnessed, what nobody, not doctors or specialists or nannies, had managed. "Let's talk outside," he murmured. Alana followed. Marisol lounged near the grand staircase, glare sharp as the earlier sting. Something had changed, and she hated it. In the sitting room, Damien gestured. "Please, sit." Alana perched carefully, wary. She didn't belong in rooms where the rug cost a year's rent. Damien remained standing. "I know this is unusual. You didn't plan for any of this." "No, sir. I came to mop." He huffed, weary rather than amused. "And somehow you walked straight through the walls my son built since his mother died." Alana lowered her gaze. "I wasn't trying to interfere. I heard him and couldn't keep walking." "I'm glad you didn't," he said quietly. "He hasn't let anyone touch him since the accident." Alana's eyes lifted. "The accident?" Damien's jaw tightened. "Last winter, black ice. My wife, Helena, didn't make it." "I'm sorry," Alana whispered. He nodded, a stiff thank you brittle. Silence pooled, thick with what he didn't say. Then, "I want to offer you a temporary role as Theo's live-in nanny." Alana blinked. "Sir, I'm not qualified. No certifications, no resume for this. I don't need paperwork. I need results." "What about your staff? The housekeeper?" "I'll handle Marisol," he cut in, voice flint. "If she's made things difficult, it stops now." Alana's cheek throbbed. "With respect, sir, people like me don't get offers like this. Not here." "Why not?" he asked. Alana's answer came quiet but steady. "Because we're not supposed to be seen." He regarded her, then stepped closer. "Theo sees you. That's enough for me." Warmth dawned slow and terrifying. "Okay," she said. "I'll try. I'll have Marisol prepare the guest room beside the nursery tonight." Alana stood, debating handshakes, bows, retreat. She nodded instead and turned, nearly colliding with Marisol, who'd clearly been eavesdropping. "Watch yourself," Marisol hissed. "Don't forget your place." Alana didn't answer. Theo's voice piped from the nursery doorway, small and sure. "Mama." Everyone froze. Alana knelt. "No, baby. Alana, I'm here to help." He stubbornly shook his head and lunged into her arms. Damien's eyes changed again. That night, Alana packed everything she owned, one soft suitcase, frayed zipper, and a framed photo of her parents holding her younger sister, Maya. She kissed Maya's forehead, promised money for rent, then took the late train back. The penthouse guest room felt clean and lonely. Stiff sheets, skyline view that didn't warm the room. Alana placed the photo on the nightstand, sat in the hush, letting the day settle like a coat too big. Down the hall, Theo's giggle stitched the silence. She drifted to the nursery door. Damien read quietly, but Theo kept peeking toward the hallway, searching for her shadow. Alana smiled. Maybe these walls weren't as high anymore. The guest room's quiet felt strange. Alana lay on the edge of the bed, staring at a ceiling that wasn't hers. The sheets smelled of starch and citrus. Comfort tugged against disbelief, and sleep wouldn't come. A nightlight washed the corner with soft shapes. Manhattan's hum lived beyond glass. Exhaustion weighed her eyes, but her mind wouldn't accept that a billionaire's son had chosen her to calm his fierce, frightened heart tonight. She touched the photo, parents beaming at baby Maya, people who did right even when it hurt. "I hope I'm doing good," she whispered. A soft thump landed outside. Another shuffle. She slipped on house slippers, stepped out cautiously. The nursery door sat ajar. Barefoot, puffy-eyed Theo stood there, clutching a battered lion. "Sweetheart," she whispered. "Mama," he whimpered, voice wobbling. Alana's heart twisted. She brushed a curl from his forehead. "You're safe. I'm here." He squeezed her hand, fingers tight and desperate. She glanced at the crib. "Want me to stay till you fall asleep?" He tugged her to the chair. She sat humming that velvet hymn, slow and steady, a little prayer. Theo climbed in on his own, lay down still gripping her fingers through the slats. His breath evened, the room settling around him. Alana's head drifted to the rail, half asleep, body sore, heart finally still, anchored there. That's how Damien found them, tie loosened, shirt wrinkled from late calls. He paused at the threshold. Hall light spilled over his son asleep. Small hand threaded with a woman dozing beside the crib. Peaceful, astonishing, real. He didn't speak, didn't move closer. The house hadn't felt like this in months. Stillness instead of hollow silence. He backed away. The next morning, she woke on the nursery couch, a blanket tucked over her shoulders. Someone had moved her, tucked a pillow beneath her neck. The blanket smelled of cedar, faint cologne. Startled, she sat up just as Marisol marched in with a breakfast tray. "Well, you've made yourself very comfortable," Marisol sniffed. "I didn't mean to fall asleep here." Alana started. "Doesn't matter," Marisol muttered, setting down eggs, toast, fruit. "Mr. Ellison said you're to receive meals fresh in your room 3 times daily." Alana blinked. "He said that?" No answer. Alana couldn't remember the last time someone cooked for her. She ate slowly, grateful. A knock. Theo, tiny in pajamas, lion dangling, climbed right into her lap. Damien appeared, coffee in hand, leaning against the doorframe, watching. "Hope the accommodations were okay," he said. "More than okay," Alana replied, brushing Theo's back. "Marisol said you slept in the nursery." "I didn't plan to," she said. "He needed someone." "And you were there," Damien answered simply. "This place hasn't held laughter in a long time," he said. "Sometimes it just needs a lullaby." She murmured. He studied her carefully, unreadable. "Finish breakfast. The driver will take you and Theo to Central Park later." "You're trusting me already?" she asked. He smiled faintly. He already has. In February, Central Park wore bare trees and steel-gray sky. The wind sliced through wool. Still, the quiet felt like Sunday mornings back home. Room to breathe. The black Range Rover idled by the south entrance. The driver opened her door like she'd always belonged in back seats, not behind mops. Theo, bundled in navy, watched the city roll by. Curious, alert, he kept her hand the whole time. At the park, the driver said he'd wait nearby. It felt strange being called ma'am, chauffeured like a person of consequence. Theo tugged her coat, grounding her. They walked the frozen lake, watched ducks carve slush, held hot chocolate. Theo didn't speak, but he never let go. Then the air changed. A black town car slid to the curb like a whispered threat. A woman emerged, long gray coat, leather gloves, sunglasses despite the clouded sky. Alana recognized her from the framed photo in the nursery. Veronica Hale, Helena's older sister. Theo stiffened. Alana tightened her grip. "So, you're the one?" Veronica asked, voice glassy. "The maid who sings lullabies." "I'm Theo's temporary nanny," Alana said. Veronica laughed without warmth. "Of course, and I'm the astronaut queen." Theo buried himself in Alana's side. "You're scaring him," Alana said evenly. "I'm his aunt," Veronica snapped. "Family." "Then don't talk like a stranger," Alana answered, blunt, honest. Veronica smiled thinly. "Easy to be bold when you're sleeping in penthouses and eating from silver you didn't earn." "I never asked for any of this," Alana said. "I'm here to care for him." "Right," Veronica murmured. "Access." "I came to clean," Alana said. "Theo found me." Veronica's finger brushed his coat like ownership. "I'll be watching," she whispered. Theo recoiled, face hiding in Alana's jacket. That was enough. Alana turned away, boots crunching ice. Her hands shook, not with fear, but a bright, protective anger. The driver opened the door. "Home, ma'am." "Yes." Theo didn't unclasp her the entire ride. Back at the penthouse, she made oatmeal with honey and cinnamon. Comfort ritual. Theo, pink-cheeked from wind, sat quiet at the table. He hadn't smiled since Veronica. Footsteps. Damien entered, sleeves rolled, hair slightly mussed. "Marisol said you ran into Veronica," he said. "She's concerned," Alana answered, "but not about Theo." Damien sighed, rubbing his neck. Veronica's intense, controlling. "She scared him," Alana said. "She doesn't see Theo. She sees legacy, an asset to protect, not someone to love." Damien's eyes cut sharp. "You're direct." "So are you," she said. He glanced at Theo, calm now, spoon hovering over oatmeal. He didn't cry once today, longest stretch since. He couldn't finish. "He doesn't need perfection," Alana said softly. "He needs presence." Damien held her gaze. "Stay on." Indefinitely. As long as he needs me, she said quietly. I'll stay. Veronica won't be a problem, he added. Alana didn't believe it. People like Veronica didn't disappear. They circled, calculated, and waited, jaws tight behind polished smiles. Morning rose slow, city fog smearing the skyline. For the first time in months, Alana had rested. No nightmares about eviction notices or Maya crying. She cracked the window, let cold air and distant street sounds drift in carefully. Her reflection in the glass looked steadier, older by choice and experience. After a quick shower, she dressed in a soft sweater and jeans, clothes Marisol had left without a note, pulled from some cedar-scented storage, reluctant kindness. In the kitchen, Theo watched a squirrel at the garden glass, sippy cup in hand. Marisol arranged toast like a gallery piece. Good morning, Alana said. He woke at 6 asking for you, Marisol replied, finally glancing over with annoyance. Theo reached his arms. Up! Alana scooped him. Hey, sunshine, Marisol sniffed. He wouldn't eat until I played back your singing from the monitor. Monitor? Baby monitor, Marisol said. Mr. Ellison installed it back then. It helped him sleep. Now he listens to you, she added, eyes narrowing. Alana ignored the jab, focusing on Theo nesting at her shoulder. Breakfast was gentle. Oatmeal, berries, soft pancakes. She narrated plans. Garden walk, sunroom drawings, maybe cookie dough, later. He didn't talk much, but his fingers toyed with her sleeve. Later, while Marisol cleaned, Alana and Theo sprawled on the nursery rug with crayons. That's when she noticed an old frame tucked behind a line of books. Curiosity pulled it free. Helena Ellison, laughter bright, wind-flipping golden hair, baby Theo in her lap. Alana's throat squeezed. Theo reached. Mama, he said, clear as a bell. Did you just... He traced his mother's face carefully. Alana placed the picture in his lap. She loved you very much. He toddled to his crib, pulled the lion, placed it beside the photo like an offering. A shadow crossed the doorway. Damien quiet, watching something fragile, reform. I forgot that picture was there, he said. Theo called her Mama, Alana whispered. Damien's jaw worked. He hasn't said that since the funeral. If this upset him, it didn't, Damien said gently. He needs to remember. So do I. Alana saw him then, not the billionaire, but a widower raising a little boy with ghosts in the hallway. You loved her, she said, not a question. Deeply, he said, and I failed. You're still here. That matters, Alana answered. Theo crawled into her lap again. Damien watched, softer than before. He's different with you. I didn't do anything special, she said. You listened, he replied. Most people don't. The afternoon lifted, the house learning to breathe again. Alana crawled on all fours, roaring playfully like a lion. Theo shriek-laughed. Marisol pretended annoyance, but a ghost of a smile betrayed her. Dinner was simple, roasted chicken, potatoes, green beans, eaten shoulder to shoulder at the island. Theo offered Alana biscuit bites. Damien sipped wine slow. This feels normal, he said. Maybe this is what normal is supposed to feel like, she answered. Later she passed the study. Damien typed slowly. She knocked softly, leaning in. He's down for the night, she said. Thank you, he answered. For what? Giving my son a reason to smile. He's giving me something too, she said. What's that? A place to belong. She left him with the flicker of hope. Dawn hesitated behind fog. Coffee hissed. Bacon crackled. A toddler giggled. Alana stood barefoot. Navy sweater, black joggers, flipping pancakes. Theo drummed his lion on granite. Marisol lurked, arms folded, skepticism sanding her edges. Smooth. Since Damien granted Alana authority with Theo, Marisol's barbs had cooled to frosted silence. Blueberries in yours? Alana asked. He nodded emphatically. She slid one to his plate, stacked with berries. The knock hit the penthouse like thunder. Too early for guests, Marisol muttered, marching to the door. A click of heels entered, scent arriving first. Expensive, decisive. Good morning, came that clipped voice. I assume I'm unexpected. Veronica Hale, immaculate, surveying like a judge. Theo shrank behind Alana's leg. Alana crouched. "It's okay, baby. We're staying right here." "Veronica," Damien said, suddenly barefoot and tieless, not thrilled. "To what do we owe this?" "Family drops by," Veronica replied, gliding like she owned AR. "You've never dropped by before," he said. "What's going on?" She unfolded a tabloid from her handbag, sliding it across marble. Grainy photo, Alana and Theo holding hands in the park. "New nanny, new love," she quoted. "Insiders question boundaries." Damien's face darkened. "Trash," Veronica shrugged. "Perception is power. Your board watches everything. You bring in an unvetted maid and stage happy family in public, and they question your judgment. That affects more than breakfast chatter. I don't care what tabloids say." "The board does," Veronica said, not finishing the threat. "Didn't have to." Alana stayed quiet. This wasn't her battlefield. "Miss Jackson," Veronica smiled, blade thin. "Give us a minute." Alana nodded, guiding Theo away. In the hallway, Theo whispered, "I don't like her." "You remember her?" He nodded, serious. "She makes your voice go quiet." Alana swallowed. "She can't take anything from us," she whispered. "We hold what's ours." Theo tucked lion tighter. In the kitchen, Veronica faced Damien like a prosecutor. "I'm not here to fight," she lied. "I care about Theo." "You care about optics," he said. "Child services, custody whispers. You've thrown them at me before. Don't start again." "Your judgment is clouded," she pressed. "You're grieving, attached to a girl you barely know." "I trust her," Damien answered. "Trust?" Veronica scoffed. "She scrubbed your floors 3 days ago." "And he laughs with her," Damien said. "Explain that." The unassailable truth cracked her veneer. She packed her gloves, already retreating. "Don't be shocked when it crashes," she said at the door. After story time, Theo slept. Alana returned. Damien stood over the paper, jaw set, unreadable. "I'm sorry," she said. "For what?" he asked. "The attention." "You didn't cause this," he said. "You brought peace. She brings storms." "She won't stop," Alana murmured. "No," he agreed. "Then what now?" "Now," he said, "we hold the line." Snow fell that evening, soft, then thick, Manhattan swallowing each hush like a secret. Alana watched from the nursery window, while Theo snored beneath a navy fleece. Veronica's words curled like smoke under the door, coiling around quiet. "She makes your voice go quiet." He wasn't wrong. People like Veronica didn't yell. They smothered with smiles, status, legalese. Alana recognized those voices from grocery lines, interviews, school meetings. "We're not saying you don't belong, but..." She wouldn't let Theo inherit that shrinking. She slipped into the hallway, found Marisol adjusting tulips. "Where's Mr. Ellison?" "In the study," Marisol said. "Where else after a visit from the ghost of holiday litigation?" "Did you joke?" "Don't get used to IT," Marisol answered. Alana knocked at the study, pushed the door when no answer came. Damien sat hunched, tie on the floor, half glass of scotch, hands gripping invisible pieces of himself together, fire low behind him. "You okay?" she asked. "What do you think?" he said without looking. She sat across, careful not to intrude. "She's not going away, is she?" He shook his head. "She smells blood now. Board, press, maybe even family court, custody." "You think she'd try to take him?" "She's threatened before," he said. "After Helena. Said I wasn't stable. Theo needed a maternal influence." "And now she sees me as that," Alana said. "Only not the kind she can manage." "Exactly," he said. They let silence breathe. "Why fight so hard to keep me?" Alana finally asked. He was quiet a long time, then spoke low and raw. "Because Theo chose you, and because I trust you. Even with the headlines. Especially with the headlines." "I can go," she said, the offer scraping her throat. "If it protects Theo, if it makes this easier." Damien stood, rounded the desk, folded his arms. "That's the difference between you and Veronica. She plays chess with people. You protect. You're not going anywhere." The door opened without a knock, Marisol with a white envelope. "Courier from Hale and Thatcher Law." Damien tore it open, jaw locking. "What is it?" Alana asked. "Emergency petition for a hearing," he said. "Custody challenge." claiming I created instability by letting an unlicensed, unvetted woman be his primary caregiver. The paper crackled in his grip. That was fast. She doesn't play fair, he said. She plays to win. So what now? Now, he answered, we prepare. By morning, the penthouse hummed like a war room. Damien's corporate legal team transformed the dining table, laptops, binders, timelines, caffeine. Alana stayed back, caring for Theo, catching phrases like driftwood, child psychologist, optics, board, affidavits, perception. The word optics clanged in her head. Didn't matter how Theo laughed or slept. It mattered what it looked like. She pulled Marisol aside. Be honest. Should I go? The spoon clanged into the sink. Marisol squinted. You serious? I'm not trying to win anything, Alana said. Just what's best for him. Marisol motioned to a chair. Sit. Her voice softened, fragile as it had ever been. I've served this family longer than you've been alive, Miss Jackson. I held Theo at 3 days old. Watched Helena run this place with honeyed voice and steel spine. Watched Damien crumble after the crash. She paused. I've never seen that boy laugh like he does with you. Not once. Not ever. So, if you even think about leaving, I'll personally slap sense into you. Not out of spite this time. Out of love. Alana blinked. You care. Don't get soft on me, Marisol grumbled, turning away. That night, story time soothed nerves. Theo fidgeted, sleepy but anxious. Tomorrow's big, Alana whispered, but you don't worry. You've got an army now. In the doorway, Damien stood quietly. You ready? Yes, she said, voice steady. When the storm comes, you don't run. The courtroom felt colder than expected. Polished wood, gray walls, fluorescent lights buzzing like trapped flies. It smelled like paper coffee. Old fear! Alana sat on the left bench, hands clasped. Navy suit Marisol had chosen. Not flashy, firm, respectful. The kind that said, I belong, even if her knees trembled. Theo stayed home with Marisol and a trusted friend. His lion toy sat in her tote like a quiet promise. Remember who you're here for. Across the aisle, Veronica sat arrow-straight, draped in charcoal and pearls, every line precise. Her lawyer, Charles Grant, silver-haired and unblinking, flipped through files like Tuesday paperwork. Damien sat beside Alana, silent, anchoring, pen gripped. All rise. The Honorable Judge Gloria Penmore entered, 60s, stern, glasses low, voice like velvet with thunder under it. Be seated. Grant rose first. Your Honor, an emergency custody hearing on behalf of Ms. Veronica Hale regarding young Theo. We're deeply concerned about the child's environment. Mr. Ellison recently installed a domestic worker without child care credentials as primary caregiver, no advanced psychological training, no nanny certification, no state-approved checks. She ferries the child publicly, unaccompanied by licensed guardians. The benches murmured, uneasy. We're not disparaging Miss Jackson, Grant continued, but optics matter. A grieving child's mental health isn't a testing ground. Damien leaned forward. May I, Your Honor? The judge nodded. He stood, hands relaxed, voice calm but steeled. I'm not experimenting, he said. I'm surviving, and so is my son. He stopped speaking after his mother died. He refused food, sleep, every therapist, every nanny, until Alana. She was scrubbing floors, and he chose her. He spoke again, with her beside him. He met the judge's eyes. If loving a child without a license is a crime, then most parents are guilty. Grant rose. Compelling, but the judge raised a hand. I've raised 3 kids. Compelling matters in juvenile courts. She turned to Alana. Miss Jackson, step forward. Heart pounding, Alana approached, seal behind the bench. Veronica's stare like frost. Damien's small nod, steadying. Are you certified in childcare? No, ma'am, Alana said evenly. I'm not. CPR trained. Yes, Mr. Ellison had me certified last week. Do you love this child? The question struck like lightning. Alana swallowed. Yes, I didn't expect to. I came for work, any work. But he found me. He laughed again. He sleeps now. I can't explain it, but I'd protect him with my life. The judge leaned back. Veronica rose, blade sharp. Your Honor, this woman is emotionally entangled, blurring employee and family. Alana turned. I am family, by choice. The room stilled. Veronica blinked. How long until you move from nanny to wife? She snapped. Damien stood. Enough. The gavel cracked once. Order, Judge Penmore said. She faced Alana again. One final question. Would you continue caring for Theo even if Mr. Ellison no longer employed you? No pay, no security, no guarantees. Alana didn't hesitate. Yes. The judge considered, then addressed her clerk. I want a full psychological evaluation for Theo within 10 business days. No custody change at this time. Grant started to object. The judge lifted a hand. However, a follow-up hearing in 3 weeks. Miss Jackson remains in the home under observation by a court-appointed child advocate. The gavel dropped. Adjourned. Back at the penthouse, quiet washed over everything. Not celebration, not defeat. Just a breath held and slowly released. In the study, Damien poured 2 glasses of wine, handed one to Alana. You were incredible, he said, meaning every syllable. I was terrified, she admitted. Didn't look it. Snow dusted the city to clean slate. She's not finished, Alana said. No, Damien agreed, but neither are we. He lifted his glass. To Theo. To holding the line, she answered. 2 days later, the house slipped back into a new normal. Theo's gentle morning knock, never demanding, always hopeful. Hugs, lion toy handoff, breakfast guesses, Alana guessing wrong on purpose to earn giggles. But a shadow stayed present. The court-appointed child advocate could arrive any time. Margaret Sutton, former city social worker, no nonsense, zero tolerance for blurred lines, serious about boundaries. Translation, here to find mistakes, not build bridges. Marisol adjusted a brooch, bracing herself. She's punctual, Marisol warned. No clutter, no excuses. Alana smoothed Theo's collar. So, no lion on the dining table? Absolutely not, Theo pouted. Alana whispered, hide him under your chair. I won't tell. He smiled conspiratorially. At exactly 10, the elevator chimed. Doors parted. Margaret stepped in like a lighthouse beam. Navy blazer, practical heels, leather folder, salt and pepper hair, clipped back with ruthless precision. She scanned the room without smiling. Mr. Ellison, she said. Miss Jackson, she added. Crisp. Damien gestured to the living room. We've prepared documents. I've read the file. Margaret interrupted. I'm here to observe. Her eyes landed on Theo coloring at the table. And there's the little prince. Theo didn't look up, filling his tiger with orange. May I sit with him privately? Only if Miss Jackson is present, Damien said. Judge's ruling. Margaret didn't argue. She sat opposite Theo, opened her folder, and began measured questions. Favorite foods, favorite toys, favorite places. Then deeper. Do you feel safe here, Theo? Do you like Alana? Who says good night? Theo answered in nods, whispers, short phrases. Then Margaret asked, do you miss your mommy? Everything stopped cold. His crayon rolled, tapped the floor softly. Air thinned like someone opened a door to winter. Theo's fingers stalled, body small and brave at once. Alana felt the question strike, reverberating through every fragile, newly mended seam between them. She reached, not grabbing, just anchoring. It's okay, she said low. You can answer however you want, or not at all. Margaret watched, pen hovering, posture neutral, eyes sharp, measuring not just Theo's answers, but how Alana breathed beside him. Theo's gaze shifted. Window, lion bump under his hoodie, Alana's steady hand nearby. He nudged the crayon back to the page, drew a small circle, then another. Crooked suns orbiting something brighter. His lower lip trembled, then steadied, carefully. Margaret waited. Seconds stretched. Damien stood further back, hands clasped behind him, learning to let Alana lead. Theo finally whispered, sometimes. The word landed like porcelain, soft, delicate, true. Alana kept breathing, a metronome in the room. Thank you, Margaret said, and didn't press further. Instead, she shifted. Who helps you sleep? Theo's whisper, Lana. The smallest smile for Margaret, there and gone. She made a note, closed the folder, and asked if Theo wanted a break. He nodded, slid from the chair, and tucked his lion deeper into his hoodie. Pocket! Alana ruffled his curls gently. Water? He nodded again. She walked to the kitchen, poured from the filtered tap, counting breaths, counting blessings, counting seconds. Margaret joined Damien by the island, voice low. I'll need to observe routines, bedtime, transitions, and communication, hers and yours. I'll also speak with the therapists. Damien nodded. Of course. Margaret glanced toward Alana. She's calm under pressure. Yes, he said. That seems to be what Theo needed. Margaret jotted another note. Stability is what he needs, she said. Calm is the doorway. She looked toward the nursery hallway. I'll be back this evening, if that works. It does. Alana returned with water. Theo sipped, eyes on her face. I'm here, she said quietly. Margaret held the scene an extra heartbeat, absorbing the untrained, unmistakable fluency between them, the kind that resumes can't promise and degrees can't counterfeit. Thank you, Miss Jackson, Margaret said. We'll continue later. The elevator doors closed behind her. Alana let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Damien set his mug down. You were steady, he said. He took his cue from you. He always does, Alana said, because you show up the same way every time. Damien's mouth tipped. We keep doing that. Through evaluations, hearings, headlines. She nodded. Through Veronica. His jaw flexed, especially through Veronica. The plan stayed simple. Hold the line. Keep the rhythms. Protect the small joys. Dinner was grilled cheese and tomato soup. Theo dunked sandwiches, whispered hot, grinned when Alana blew steam away. Marisol pretended to care only about crumbs, but watched everything softer. After bath, Theo stacked blocks, then knocked them laughing, then begged one book, then a second. Alana read both slow. He curled against her shoulder, lion wedged between. Damien lingered in the doorway, hands in pockets, breathing easier. Margaret returned at 7 sharp, notebook ready. She observed toothbrushing negotiations, pajamas chosen after 2 vetoes, the way Alana offered choices that always led home. She watched Alana hum, dim the light, and let quiet grow roots. Damien stayed back again, learning when not to lead. Theo drifted, then slid toward sleep. Margaret observed how Alana's stillness preceded his calm, how the house seemed to take its cues, how even Marisol's footsteps softened near the threshold. Later, in the kitchen, Margaret debriefed briefly. I'll continue tomorrow. I'll need records from his pediatrician and any therapists. You'll have them, Damien said. Thank you, Alana added, for being fair. Margaret nodded once. Good night. The elevator sighed shut. Damien leaned against the counter, eyes tired, but hopeful. You okay? He asked. Yes, Alana said. We can do this. Outside, the city glittered like a shaken snow globe. Inside, something sturdier than hope settled. It wasn't victory. It wasn't safety guaranteed. It was a promise made in a nursery chair, repeated in a courtroom, tested by headlines, measured by strangers. Stay. Show up. Listen. When the storm comes, don't run. Hold the line. In the nursery, Theo rolled over, lion under his chin, breath steady as a metronome. Alana tucked the blanket, flicked the nightlight, touched the crib rail. Damien watched from the doorway, the smallest gratitude breaking across his face. Down the hall, Marisol straightened tulips again and didn't hide her smile. Somewhere between grief and tomorrow, a family was learning how to exist. Evaluations, follow-ups, headlines could come. But tonight, the house remembered how to be still. Alana moved on instinct, kneeling beside Theo. She didn't speak, only hummed slow and low, the same lullaby from that first night. He softened against her shoulder. Margaret Sutton watched, pen whispering across paper, expression unreadable. I'll return in 3 days, Margaret said. Consistency earns children's trust. Then she left. That night, on the balcony, slush shining below, the city glittered indifferent. Damien joined Alana, 2 steaming mugs in hand, eyes kinder than usual. She didn't seem hostile, he offered. No, Alana said, but she wasn't impressed either. Every smile is evidence now. She studied him. Regret keeping me? Not for a second. She nodded, thinking aloud about earning childcare certification. You think a certificate will make Veronica respect you? He asked. No, Alana said, but it might make erasing me harder. He offered to pay. She declined. Inside, Theo's laughter rang. Damien smiled faintly. You built something real here. Real is what gets challenged most, Alana murmured. Later, while folding Theo's pajamas, she noticed a gap on the shelf. Runaway bunny missing. Behind the books, a small flash drive waited like a snake. She pocketed it, heart tightening. After Theo slept, Alana slid the drive into her laptop. One file. A video. Static. Then Veronica's voice. You wanted proof, Charles? Watch. Grainy hallway footage. Alana singing, holding Theo. Not enough, he muttered. Keep watching, Veronica purred. A second clip appeared, crudely doctored, faking Alana entering Damien's bedroom. Fade to black, implying scandal. Alana's blood chilled. Veronica wasn't just chasing custody. She was detonating Alana's credibility and leaving the shrapnel for courts. Morning air felt denser, a fog slipping through vents. Alana cooked on autopilot, eggs, fruit, juice, mind stuck on that drive. She hadn't slept, not after watching Lies loop, not after realizing how far Veronica would plunge. Theo padded in, lion underarm. Alana knelt, voice steady she didn't feel. Hungry, buddy? He nodded. Damien entered, collar unbuttoned, eyes tight. You okay? I need to show you something. Privately. Marisol nodded. She'd keep Theo busy. In the study, Alana plugged the drive into the desktop. They watched silently. Hallway truth, then bedroom fiction. Damien didn't speak for seconds. She recorded, edited, planted, and waited, he said, tucked behind Theo's books. Calculated bait. She'll try to use it in court, Alana said, throat tight, to imply something improper, that I manipulated my way inside. Damien's voice darkened. She wants you branded liability, Alana steadied. Then we fight, and fight clean. Document everything. Affidavits, metadata, chain of custody, she said. What else might she counterfeit? He nodded. I'll mobilize legal now. Then quietly, you shouldn't have to carry this. Theo's worth it, she said. He met her eyes. You're worth it too. 3 days later, Margaret returned for observation. Alana opened the door, calm-faced, nerves wired beneath. Won't take long, Margaret said, scanning the penthouse for shifts. They joined Theo, building foam towers, smiles, toppled blocks. Try again. Margaret observed 20 minutes, asked about routines, learning materials, boundaries, redirection. Alana answered with practical clarity. Then, long-term plans? Alana folded her hands. To remain reliable, present through milestones, love without transaction, predictability, not performative care. Margaret's eyebrow rose, then softened appreciably. Diplomatic, Margaret said. True, Alana countered. Folder closed. You're doing well, Miss Jackson. Interim report this week. At the door, Margaret paused. Anonymous tip alleged misconduct, something inappropriate with Mr. Ellison. The evidence was poorly doctored. I've seen real cases. This wasn't one. Hope slid in, thin but bright. These submissions usually stain the sender more than the subject, Margaret added, but it means things will get rougher before calmer. Brace yourself. A rare, sliver-thin smile. Then the elevator swallowed her away. That evening, Alana built puzzles on Theo's rug. Click, click, trust finding its rhythm. Again. Marisol hovered, then stepped in. You didn't hear this from me, she said low. Veronica's people contacted board members. Anonymous whispers. He's unfit, distracted, improper spending. What rumors exactly? Alana asked. Suggesting blurred relationships, misuse of company funds covering your salary, compromised focus, Marisol said. Alana's jaw squared. She's crafting scandal. Marisol nodded. Classic. Destroy the person, not the position. We need to address the board, Alana said. You're not on the agenda, Marisol warned. I know, Alana replied, but I'm the one she's trying to erase. Later, Alana met Damien in the study. Tomorrow, I speak to them. He weighed it, then nodded. Let's change the narrative, he said. The boardroom on 49 was steel and hush. Outside the mirrored doors, Alana straightened a navy blazer, hair neat, shoulders square. Damien's voice low. You don't have to. I do, she answered. Inside, 12 suits lined an obsidian table like chess pieces. Curiosity, irritation, skepticism watched her. At the head, Derek Mullins, Veronica's ally. Not on the agenda, he said. It is now, Damien answered. You've heard about her. Hear her. Alana stepped forward, heart pounding, feet steady. I scrubbed floors. I didn't audition for a scandal. I didn't ask to become a talking point, but a grieving child found safety with me, and I chose to stay. You guard legacy, she continued. Names, headlines, markets, understandable, but a child's first calm night matters more than optics. He chose me. He laughed again. That's the outcome, you say. You value stability, resilience, measurable change. She unfolded a drawing, crayon stick figures, a lion, a square high-rise labeled home. Theo drew this, him, me, Mr. Ellison, and this building. Kids don't lie about where they feel safe. Derek scoffed. Children draw anything. And they also tell the truth beautifully, she said, stepping closer. Susan Fairbanks leaned in. Do you intend a formal relationship with Mr. Ellison? The room tensed. Alana breathed. I intend honesty and time. Mostly, I intend to keep showing up. Derek shifted. What about last week's accusations? Damien cut in. Proven manipulated, anonymously submitted to smear. Derek frowned. Optics are messy. Alana met his gaze. I'm not your optics. I'm a person, a caretaker, a daughter, a worker, a witness. I know I don't fit this table, she said, but integrity and grit are already paying dividends in one little boy's nervous system. If you want resilience, you already own it. He builds with blocks nightly. Silence. Held. Susan cleared her throat. I move we pause any discussion of Mr. Ellison's guardianship fitness until the court rules. Another member seconded. Damien nodded thanks. Alana gathered the drawing, hands trembling, exhaled only after the elevator closed. A war zone, she whispered. You won, Damien said softly. Before she stepped out, he touched her arm. You're not going anywhere. I want to earn staying, she replied, not as someone's comfort blanket. You're his anchor, he said, hers too. Across town, Veronica Hale read notes forwarded by loyalists. 3 espresso taps on porcelain. They gave her the room, she murmured. Nora hovered. It's a pause, not dismissal. Veronica scrolled Margaret's interim report. No abuse, stable child, nurturing caregiver. She's winning the narrative, Veronica said, voice iced. Release the footage? Nora asked. No, Veronica replied. Amateur hour. If we remove her, it must be precise. Invisible. Set a meeting with Anthony Connors. The PI? The illusionist, Veronica smiled. At the penthouse, Theo zipped into his puffer. First day back at the inclusive preschool. He hadn't returned since Helena's funeral. You okay? Alana asked. He nodded, gripping her sleeve. Foreheads touched. I'll be here when you're home. Marisol, already in a coat, offered, we'll go slow. Turn back if he melts. Theo handed Alana the lion. Keep it safe. Door closed. Damien stood in the hallway, watching. He trusts you more than anyone. I won't break that, she said. We're honest from now on, she added. What's Veronica's next move? Damien sighed. Finances locked. She'll dig personal. Your defaulted student loan. That employment gap, 4 moves in 5 years. Facts twisted to weapons. Alana nodded, jaw tight. Yes, then we get ahead, she said. Use PR. I'll speak if needed. You sure? She drags me into light. Good. Let's see her manage sunlight. That afternoon, a headline spread. Billionaire's nanny more than meets the eye. Hints, insinuations, poison. Comments piled, some kind, many cruel. Sleeping her way up? Gold digger. If she were white Cinderella, Damien stormed in with his phone. I'll pull it. No, Alana said. Let them show themselves. We live. Honest. They manage discomfort. He stared like seeing her anew. You sure you weren't born for this? She smiled tiredly. Born somewhere tougher. That evening, the landline rang. Alana answered. A distorted voice hissed. House of cards, girl. I've got the wind. Click. Morning felt wrong. No open doors, no obvious intrusion, just a listening quiet. Alana walked barefoot, lion in hand, checking rooms. Kitchen clear, office untouched. In her former guest room, a hairline floorboard cracked near the closet. She pried gently, found a coin-sized black device. A bug. By noon, tech security swept everything. 4 more discovered. Nursery vent, kitchen lamp base, under dining table, hollowed novel. Encrypted audio, networked, said lead tech, Alexa. Professionally planted. Theo's room, Alana asked, voice shaking. Alexa hesitated. Likely captured sleep sounds. Alone in the study, Alana burned. She didn't just monitor, she hunted. Damien nodded grimly. Now she has contextless tapes ready to slice. We go public, Alana said. This isn't private drama anymore. It's harassment. You'll be targeted, Damien warned. Target's already painted, she answered. Across town, Veronica met Anthony Connors in a quiet dining room. Discredit her permanently, she said. Everywhere. Make her unbelievable. He'll fold or lose everything. You don't want custody, Anthony observed. You want control. Exactly, he smiled. Then I'll give you smoke. Enough to make loyalty doubt its eyes. That night, Alana recorded a plain-spoken press statement about illegal surveillance and violated healing. Morning made it national. Some pundits questioned motives. Many defended her ferociously. The tide moved. For once, Veronica's shadow shrank. That afternoon, Damien led Alana to the rooftop garden, late winter sun turning glass to gold. Any regrets? He asked. Only not preparing for how low people go, she said. She'll hit harder. Then she'll do it in daylight, he answered. I want to tell Theo, Alana added. Things may feel strange, but inside, we're safe. He's stronger than we think, Damien said. Because of you. Because of us, she countered. Night fell. A ping, unknown number, a video, grainy hospital hallway, a nurse leading a young woman cradling a newborn. Date stamp, June 10th, 2018. The woman looked like Alana. Message followed. There are things even Damien doesn't know. Maybe you forgot. I didn't. Alana's hand trembled. Outside, Manhattan buzzed. Inside, old secrets shifted, and Veronica opened a new front of war. Sleep abandoned her. She replayed the clip until antiseptic seemed to sting her nose. Same corridor, same small bundle. She didn't remember, only that summer's blur, her mother's decline, job loss, couch surfing, exhausted nights tearing at edges. Did I have a child? She whispered. She pulled a photo book, holidays, old notes, nothing after 2017. A void. Another message pinged. Remember who you were before they crown you queen. No name. Only poison dressed like poetry. Morning found her pale in the kitchen. Marisol halted. Sick. Just tired, Alana lied. Coffee appeared. A shoulder squeeze landed. Get air after breakfast, Marisol said. You're sprung tight. Theo waddled in, cheek against Alana's hip. You look sad. A little, she admitted, kissing his curls. You make me happy. He hugged harder. Later, Alana walked Riverside Park, boots crunching brittle leaves. Only one person might know, the retired nurse who'd helped them, Lucille Holloway, her mother's oldest friend. Alana called. Lucille. Baby, I've meant to ring you. I need to ask something important. Summer 2018. Was I pregnant? Silence. Not confusion or denial, just aching quiet. Then Lucille's voice cracked. I prayed you'd never remember. Alana sat on a bench, wind hollow around her. So it's true. Lucille sighed. Postpartum psychosis, honey. You were unraveling. Your mama was dying. You couldn't hold yourself up. We arranged a closed adoption at your request. I don't remember, Alana whispered. You weren't stable, Lucille said. You begged not to see him. Said, I can't love right now. I don't have it in me. He went to a good family. I kept your wishes. Could Veronica know? Only through sealed records or hospital leaks, Lucille said. We protected your name. Someone found it, Alana said. They'll weaponize it. No shame in surviving, Lucille whispered. I'm here. Back home, the study felt heavy. Damien entered, stopped at her face. Alana? She told him everything. The video, the gap, the child. She braced for judgment that never landed. He took her hand. You were 21, alone. You survived. That's strength, not stain. They'll use it, she warned. Then we own it first, he said. Not theirs anymore. Do you think he's out there? Yes, flickered between them without words. The match was lit. Alana wasn't running. She was walking into fire. Snow returned, soft, soundless. Inside, storm. Clarity burned off fear. In the mirror, Alana studied a woman who'd saved herself and buried truth to keep walking. Shame wanted the mic. She yanked its cord. Downstairs, Damien's voice hardened on calls. Sealed adoption breached, he told counsel. Possible unlawful access to hospital data. Track the source. He hung up as Alana entered. She wants you trapped in the past, he said. She doesn't realize it doesn't own you anymore. I want to find him, Alana said, even if nothing changes. I need to know he's okay. Damien didn't argue. Quietly, discreetly. Thank you, she said, a small, real smile settling. Veronica hadn't planned for Alana speaking this loud. Morning detonated. The nanny's secret baby. Veronica leaked the hospital clip, cropped and captioned to imply breakdown, viral within minutes, abandonment, unfit, unstable. Alana didn't flinch. She sat before the camera and chose truth. I'm Alana Jackson, she began. Single shot, no cuts. At 21, I placed my newborn in a closed adoption. I was alone, grieving, unwell. I chose protection. I didn't remember. I buried it. When it surfaced cruelly, I decided to face it. Diane Clark's show agreed to host her live. I don't regret saving him or me, Alana continued later on air. I regret the silence that fed shame. I'm done apologizing for survival. The video dropped. Messages flooded from adoptees, birth parents, guardians. The narrative pivoted. Veronica's shadow receded again. Meanwhile, Anthony Connors waited outside a Brooklyn daycare, telephoto lens trained on a boy with wildfire curls. Elijah. Click. Photo sent to Veronica. Her reply arrived. Time she meets the consequences of abandonment. At the penthouse, Damien brought a manila folder. Agency through Lucille. Records exist. Elijah. Adopted by 2 dads in Brooklyn. Stable. Thriving. Alana held the name reverently. I just want to see him once, from a distance. Damien nodded. We'll make it happen. In a tinted SUV nearby, Anthony watched, already plotting. The cruelest trap. Give a mother her missing piece, then threaten to rip it away again. He waited. Patience paid in leverage. Night. Theo asleep. Lion tucked beneath his chin. Alana brushed his hair. You saved me from forgetting love, she whispered. 2 children, 1 present, 1 past. She refused the false choice. This wasn't guilt, it was legacy to claim. Brooklyn wind knifed through side streets. In an unmarked SUV, scarf high and sunglasses on, Alana sat beside Damien across from the daycare. Ready? He asked quietly. I won't go inside, she said. Just need to know he's real. Playground hum, teacher scanning, kids in puffy coats careening. Then he appeared. Red jacket, wild curls, lion backpack. Alana's breath caught. She couldn't hear his laugh, but she felt it. Elijah, she whispered, breaking and mending simultaneously. He looks happy, Damien said. Whole, she answered. That's the best thing. He tripped, scraped a knee, stood without crying, dusted himself. That's my son, she breathed, eyes wet. After minutes, she turned. I've seen enough. Let's go. Back at the tower, Marisol met them fuming, newspaper in hand. Look. A photo. Alana outside the daycare. Damien's shadow behind. Headline. Billionaire's nanny, hunting her past. Taken today, Alana whispered. They're not just watching, building a case. Painting you as unstable, manipulative, a risk to Theo. A lawyer said on an emergency call. She wants custody. Theo's leverage, Alana answered. That boy has nothing to do with this. Injunction tomorrow, track photographer. For now, quiet. No more quiet, Alana said standing. Live interview, national, start to finish my words. Damien blinked. High risk. We tried silence. We tried calm. Time for fire. Across town, Veronica swirled brandy, watching twilight. Anthony entered, tablet raised. She watched him, he said, didn't approach. So she remembers, Veronica murmured. She'll fight harder, though not smarter. Escalate. Not yet, Veronica said, smiling toward the window. Let her strike the match. I'll film the blaze. The Diane Clark Show confirmed a live slot Friday. Trusted host, millions watching. Alana stared at the kitchen calendar, heart thudding. 3 days to gather strength. 3 days until truth stopped being a weapon against her and became hers. Friday arrived gray and heavy, Manhattan holding breath. In the green room, Alana sat under soft lights, hands laced. Producers buzzed. She centered herself. No subway girl mopping floors. No collapsed 21-year-old. Someone new stepped up. 5 minutes, a producer chirped. Diane sat center stage, warm yet direct. The music faded. A story that's captured hearts and fury, she told America. Headlines hide people. Tonight, Alana Jackson speaks for herself. Applause lifted gently. Alana walked into light, pulse drumming steady. Diane welcomed her. Many call you opportunist, others hero. Who are you? A survivor, Alana said. Someone who won't let strangers define me by moments they never lived through. Let's talk 2018, Diane said. The child. I placed my newborn in a closed adoption, Alana answered. I was alone, grieving, unwell. I chose protection. I didn't remember. I buried it. When it surfaced cruelly, I decided to face it. Diane nodded. Audience hushed. Many understand that pain, the silence of survival. Alana's eyes misted but held. We punish endurance. I won't apologize for doing what kept us alive. Applause swelled. Diane shifted. What about Theo? He's a miracle, Alana smiled. He taught me there was love left in me. Every lullaby stitches some younger piece of me back together. Diane glanced at cards. Whispers question motives, your stability, your bond with Mr. Ellison. Our bond is respect and shared grief, Alana said. He lost a wife. I lost a hidden past. We choose Theo together. That's not scandal. That's human. As for stability, I'm in therapy. Healing isn't weakness. It's discipline. Last question, Diane said softly. If your son watches someday, what would you say? Alana faced the camera. Elijah, I never forgot you. I did the best I could with broken pieces. I see you whole. I'm proud of you. Standing ovation. Backstage, Lucille waited, tearful, nodding. Damien held Alana without words. You did it, he whispered. We did, she trembled, relief and resolve braided. Across town, Veronica watched credits roll, glass untouched, understanding the ground had shifted. Morning felt different, subtle wind change in faces on sidewalks, in Marisol's warm breakfast smile, in inboxes filled with letters from birth parents, adoptees, grandparents. Robe-wrapped, coffee in hand, Alana listened as Damien read overnight metrics. 6.8 million viewers, he said. Top-rated interview this year, 94% positive sentiment. Donations landing for the foundation you mentioned. I didn't ask for money, Alana murmured. People support what's real, he said. Veronica. Public silence, he replied. Privately panic. Reputation hit hard. The narrative's yours. She underestimated truth, Alana said. That afternoon, Theo built block castles, humming Alana's tune off-key. Damien watched from the doorway. You made this piece. He's teaching me courage, Alana said. You taught him safety, Damien answered. He stepped closer. I've been thinking about a future not built on reaction, something real, where no one has to prove worth, where love isn't a liability. She looked at Theo, then Damien. I want that too, if we carry truth all the way. No masks, he promised. No shame. Later, a letter arrived, no return address. Inside, a photo of Elijah with his dad smiling in sunlight. On the back, he is loved. He is safe. We honor the woman who gave us the chance to know him. Alana pressed the picture to her heart. Questions eased. Peace replaced the ache, not erasing it, integrating it respectfully. 2 months later, Veronica quietly resigned from Ellison Industries board. Settlements leaked. NDAs, old grievances. No countersuit from Alana. Restraint proved louder. She didn't need to destroy Veronica. She simply outlasted her, rebuilt something better. Spring arrived with a quiet ceremony near the daycare. Alana and Damien launched the Whisper Foundation for single mothers in crisis and children caught between silences. Theo ran the grass with giggling kids. Lucille gave the opening speech. Alana stood with both sons, one beside her, one forever, carried. Shame had exited the room. Legacy remained. Not every wound disappears. Some become armor, tender and strong. Night songs finally praised light rather than smothering pain. The lesson: truth isn't weakness, it's a healing blade. In a world quick to judge women who carry invisible damage, Alana's fight declares survival honorable. Love isn't perfection, it's presence when everything shakes, steady as breath. Sometimes justice is a voice steadying on live television, refusing to be revised by anyone else's hands. Sometimes it's a lullaby in a nursery or a block castle holding the line through another hard night. Alana Jackson, nearly 30 now, didn't become flawless. She became whole, choosing daylight over shadows, belonging over invisibility, courage over caution. When storms gathered again, she knew the rule that saved them. Don't run. Hold the line. Damien learned, too, leadership measured not merely in markets but in kitchens and night halls, in trusting the right person for the right child, in relinquishing optics for outcomes, in trading armor for honesty that actually protects. Marisol soft-pedaled her barbs into dry humor, the housekeeper's heart proving steel and honey can coexist. Margaret Sutton filed her final. Stable child, consistent routines, caregiver attuned and effective. Court agreed. Veronica's petitions faded into dust. Charles Grant withdrew neatly, realizing clients who light fires eventually burn. Counsel. Derek Mullins stopped sneering. Susan Fairbanks sent personalized donations. Nora switched jobs. Anthony Connors vanished into the city's noise, smoke machine finally cold. And Theo, he grew, laugh bigger, sleep deeper, tantrums thinning to ordinary weather. He called lullabies fix-it songs, carried his lion to picnics, and learned the difference between silence that harms and quiet that heals. Elijah remained with his family, cherished, thriving. Another photo arrived months later, paper airplane mid-flight, small hands flung wide. On the back, he's fearless. Alana smiled. Fearless belongs to both their houses now, connected without confusion. When headlines sought fresh scandal, there wasn't any left to wring. The truth had already aired, and the world, shockingly, remembered. Not every day. Enough days to matter. Enough nights to keep breathing easy when windows dimmed. The penthouse learned stillness again. The real kind, where safety sits on the couch, where laughter chooses the hallway, where feet patter at dawn, and someone hums while flipping pancakes without checking who's listening. And when people whispered other versions, Alana's answer stayed simple. We held the line. She didn't carry proof like armor anymore. She carried mornings. That was the evidence that counted. That was always the point, stubborn and soft. In late spring, she finally framed Theo's drawing, the stick trio, the square high-rise, the lion, the word home. It hung near the elevator where everyone could see exactly what the board once questioned and life already answered. Some nights, Damien sat in the study with the door open, not to monitor, just to hear the house breathe. Leadership recalibrated itself to the meter of lullabies and museum of crayon lines drying on the fridge. Alana enrolled in evening classes on early childhood development, certificate on her terms. Not for Veronica, for herself. Knowledge stitched beside instinct, presence backed by research. Another door she wasn't supposed to open yielded anyway. When she walked home, she didn't hide from cameras. The story that tried to reduce her to scandal had expanded beyond any heirloom headline. It belonged to kitchens, classrooms, courtrooms that actually listened, rooftops where winter thawed. Sometimes she still traced the faint scar memory left, June 2018. But it didn't choke her anymore. It steadied her hand for other mothers calling the Foundation's hotline at 2 a.m., terrified, breathless. You're not alone, she told them. There's no shame in surviving, she said. We'll make a plan by morning. The Whisper Foundation kept its lights warm, phones human, grants simple. No hoop jumping, no purity tests, just oxygen for people the world kept airless. Theo grew into questions. Did I save you? He asked once. You saved me too, she answered honestly. He nodded like a tiny judge, satisfied, lion under his chin. already an expert at measuring what really matters beyond applause. When storms returned as storms do, the house didn't panic. They set the dinner table, answered calls, kept promises. Optics never tucked anyone in. Outcomes did. Love certainly did. The line held not out of stubbornness, but out of choice. On a bright morning, Alana watched both boys run in different parks on different days, joy stitched across distances. Some families grow by paper, some by presence, some by courage to name pasts without letting them govern tomorrows. Veronica Hale remained a lesson about power unmoored from care, about control dressed as concern. Alana didn't toast enemies, she toasted mornings. The city sparkled, loud and beautiful, still uncaring, which made their small caring louder. On anniversaries of hard days, they didn't relive harm. They relit kitchens, made pancakes, called Lucille, wrote checks to keep phones staffed for strangers. It felt like victory without parade floats, sane, sustainable, sturdy as breath. And whenever Alana passed the elevator, that framed drawing said what no press conference ever could. Home isn't a headline. It's a decision you make together again and again, especially when the camera turns elsewhere. She kept the old flash drive in a locked drawer, evidence of what malice tried. It stayed cold, powerless. Truth had already burned the oxygen out of that matchbox. Smoke didn't scare anyone here anymore. It only stained itself. The child advocate's final letter came, stamped and clinical, yet strangely warm between the lines. No basis for removal. Recommend continuity. Alana smiled, placed it behind the drawing. Paper behind crayon, systems behind lullabies, priorities ordered. Damien sometimes asked, "How'd you know to walk into the nursery that first day?" Alana shrugged. "Some cries are old, some are yours. You answer anyway." He understood. Leadership, it turned out, was an answer you practice. When Theo finally slept without the lion, Alana didn't weep. She grinned. Growth doesn't ask permission, it shows up, grinning with crumbs. She texted Margaret a photo of blocks. "He's good," Margaret replied with a rare thumbs-up emoji. Nights ended with windows cracked, city hum a lullaby of its own. The house didn't fear being seen anymore. If people watched, let them learn what steadiness looks like when no one's auditioning, when nobody's angling angles. In the rarest quiet, Alana sometimes hummed the hymn that started everything, not from hurt now, from gratitude. It sounded different in a room that no longer flinched. Same notes, new meaning. That's all healing ever promised. She wasn't the maid who wandered into a nursery. She was the woman who chose to stay, and kept choosing when storms insisted doors were exits. She turned them into thresholds. She wasn't perfect, she was present. It was enough. And enough, repeated faithfully, becomes abundance. Theo learned that. Damien learned that. Lucille already knew. The foundation was simply institutionalized enough, a scaffolding for strangers, a bridge where shame used to put moats. On summer's first hot night, Theo declared pancakes for dinner. They ate with windows open, skyline blinking. Marisol pretended to scold syrup drips, then smuggled extra blueberries. Everyone laughed. No headline could compete with that orchestra. Later, Alana tucked Theo in. Lion retired to the shelf and stood a long moment at the doorway. This was the miracle no court could order, no board could schedule. Breath in, breath out, unafraid. The house remembered stillness. And if tomorrow called for courage again, they'd show up with the same plan. Steady routines, honest sentences, no masks, no shame. The line wouldn't hold itself. People did. They had practice. Practice had become a home. The last piece of the puzzle clicked months later when Elijah's dad sent a note. He loves airplanes, says the sky is his backyard. Alana laughed aloud. Fearless, she whispered again, tucking the photo where sunlight could find it. Some stories ask for revenge. Hers asked for repair. She honored that ask. Veronica's name faded to a footnote. The city kept being a city. And kitchens kept being where the real headlines always lived anyway. She never stopped learning. Certificates framed, not as armor, but as tools. She taught parent classes at the foundation, how steadiness looks, how mornings save lives. Moms cried in gratitude. Alana cried too. Unashamed, saltwater cleans rooms. Damien proposed a future in simple verbs: cook, read, walk, listen. No page 6, no grand gestures. He didn't promise no storms. He promised he wouldn't run. She said yes to verbs, yes to mornings, yes to singing anyway. When Theo asked about the boardroom someday, Alana said, "It's just a table." He nodded wisely, rearranged blocks, built 2 bridges instead of 1. More ways home, he declared. Exactly, she said, memorizing the architect of their blueprint. On an anniversary of Helena's passing, they lit a candle, told happy stories, and let grief breathe without swallowing the room. Theo placed the lion beside the flame, solemn as a clerk. Love made space. It always did. And somewhere in Brooklyn, a boy chased a paper airplane under a sky he called backyard. Both households hummed lullabies into different ceilings, same notes bearing 2 families forward. It wasn't perfect. It was whole. It was enough. The city blinked, unbothered. That indifference no longer wounded. It freed them to care loudly in small rooms. Whisper Foundation volunteers learned the equation. Consistent kindness beats spectacle. Daylight beats rumors. Pancakes beat panic more often than not. Headlines dwindled. Donations didn't. Board meetings resumed their regular boredom. Damien found boredom luxurious. Stability played better than fireworks. Quarterly reports never mentioned lullabies, and yet every chart owed something to their quiet music. When Theo's teacher sent a note, he comforted a classmate during a meltdown, humming softly. Alana sat down and let herself cry, the kind of tears that don't bruise. Legacy had turned right side up. That was the point, stubborn and shining. They framed that note beside the drawing. Paper altars to ordinary courage. Visitors asked about them first, not the skyline. Good. Let the city be background. The foreground belonged to crayons, block towers, and steady hands. At year's end, Margaret emailed a single line. Had to share. My toughest case stabilized. Thought of you. Alana smiled, replied with a lion emoji, and hold the line. Words traveled far, doing quiet work she'd never fully measure. Some evenings they stood on the balcony, mugs warm, winter returning, city kissing the river with light. Do you ever miss before? Damien asked. No, Alana said. This is the story I wanted, the one we wrote together. She didn't need the world's permission to belong to it anymore. She already belonged to kitchens, classrooms, rooftops, night halls, small hands, brave mornings, to the version of herself who chose presence over perfection and line over exit. If anyone asked for the lesson, she gave it plain. Truth mends. Steadiness saves. Love is a verb. When storms come, don't run. Breathe, hum, pour coffee. Set plates, open doors, hold the line together again. And if they pressed for proof, she pointed to Theo sleeping and to sunlight on a crayon drawing near the elevator. Evidence enough. The house was still. The hearts were steady. The storm had learned their names and passed. Lesson 1. The people the world doesn't see may save it anyway. If you're over 65, you've lived long enough to know that the people who keep a household, a company, even a country running, are rarely the ones in the headlines. Alana arrived at that penthouse as the help. Worn-out shoes, sore back, and a paycheck already spoken for. Yet when the screaming child defeated doctors, therapists, and highly paid nannies, it was the woman with the MOP who walked into the nursery and brought peace with a humming hymn. Many of you remember working 2 or 3 jobs, standing in the shadows so others could shine. Alana's story is a reminder that our worth is not determined by our title or our bank account, but by the steadiness we bring when everyone else is falling apart. Lesson 2. Truth and vulnerability are stronger than gossip and control. Older Americans know what it feels like to be judged by whispers, by neighbors, churches, even family. Veronica tried to destroy Alana the modern way. Doctored videos, planted stories, anonymous calls, and cruel headlines. Then came the deepest cut, exposing the child Alana had placed in a closed adoption during a time when her mind and life were breaking. Many people would have crawled back into silence. Instead, she sat under bright studio lights and told the truth in plain language. No excuses, no spin. That moment speaks to every elder who has ever carried a secret out of sheer shame. Honesty, even late in life, can turn weapons into medicine. Truth doesn't erase the past, but it keeps others from owning it. Lesson 3. Legacy is built in small rooms, not big stages. By our later years, we know that real change rarely happens in grand speeches. It lives in kitchens, classrooms, and quiet hallways. Alana and Damien didn't win just because the court ruled in their favor. They won because Theo learned to sleep without fear, because a frightened little boy began humming Fix-It songs to comfort other children, and because a foundation was born to help desperate mothers at 2 a.m. That's legacy, not spotless reputations, but repaired hearts. For those of us thinking about what we'll leave behind, their story offers a simple creed. Show up, tell the truth, keep loving when the storm howls. In the end, holding the line for one child may be the greatest victory of all. Friends, after walking with Alana through humiliation, courtroom battles, old secrets, and finally hard-won peace, I'd love to hear from you, especially those of you in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Which part of her journey spoke most deeply to your own life? The invisible work you've done, the secrets you've carried, or the legacy you hope to leave your children and grandchildren? Share your thoughts in the comments so others can learn from your wisdom. And if this story touched you, please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share it so more hearts can be encouraged.